How's it going, everybody? So, welcome back to FireRed and LeafGreen, which are dropping on the Switch 1 and are also going to be playable on the Switch 2. And guess what? Whether you're playing these games for the very first time or coming back for that nostalgia hit, well, I'm here to tell you that these games are genuinely some of the best games in the franchise if you want to just go raw dog and shiny hunt. And therefore, before anybody asks, I want to tell you, yes, I do know that Gen 3 has no shiny odds boosting methods. There is no radar, like Poké Radar, no shiny charm, no chaining. It's basically a flat 1 in 8,192 chance across the board. But here's the thing. That just kind of makes it even more fun, and every single shiny you do get in this game feels even more special, especially with no shiny locks. Yes, everywhere in this game you can find Pokemon, and every single Pokemon is fair game. You means pretty much all the legendaries can be shiny hunted, all the Pokemon can be shiny hunted. You can try to go and try to get a shiny of everything. So today we're going to be running through 5 shiny hunting methods, or rather shiny hunts you can do in this game that are absolutely worth doing. So let's get started. Method number 1 is just random encounters. This is the grind, baby. You know how this works. Basically, it's the most basic way of doing things. You just go into the game, you run around, and you try to get yourself a shiny. This pretty much consists of you running into the grass, and once you're in the grass, you just run around until you find a shiny Pokemon. It's pretty much as simple as it gets, because FireRed and LeafGreen have some absolutely gorgeous random encounter shinies across the entire place you can get. You can get shiny Growlithe in Pokemon FireRed, shiny Ekans in FireRed, and also you can get shiny Geodude in both games, I think, in Mount Moon. There's like a massive variety, and then of course, because there are exclusives, there are certain shinies that you can only do in one game and certain shinies you can only do in the other one. But it's pretty simple to do this. You pick one specific Pokemon you want to shiny hunt for. Let's say if we're trying to get a Meowth in this grass outside of Celadon City right here, if we want to go for the Meowth, well, we just go into the grass and keep going over and over until we find it. But you do have to make sure you do one important thing, which is make sure that you are grinded up in levels, they have a strong enough team so you can easily defeat the Pokemon or simply run away as quickly as possible. If you do find a shiny, make sure you have a Pokemon with false swipe so you can make sure you don't kill them if they accidentally run into you and, you know, they're, I don't know, if they're too weak or you cannot get them down to low enough health or whatever to catch them. Especially if it's a higher level Pokemon, you ideally want to make sure you have false swipe to not kill them by accident. So yeah, this is method number 1. It is the most common and the most easy one to actually go for, but definitely a worthwhile one. Now, method number 2 is going to, of course, be fishing. Yes, so fishing was a thing back in Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen. I mean, again, you guys already know this, but basically you grab your old rod, your good rod, or your super rod, which you can find in different parts of the game. You find a body of water. In this case, we have Celadon water right here, which is nothing special, but you find some water and you fish for the wild Pokemon. You do this by simply going into your bag, you look for the super rod, you press it, or if you have a good rod or an old rod, there are guides online for where to find these, but you just get these and you keep going until something actually bites. Of course, this is very slow and tedious, and it takes longer than even the grass encounters, because here you're gonna have to also get lucky that a fish actually bites, like it just did for us. And once you actually do get the bite, well, in this case, it's a Magikarp, and it's level 25, and it is definitely not shiny. But that's fine, because we just run away, and we go again. So, well, should you do it? Well, yeah, I think so, because there are a lot of Pokemon that are worthwhile to shiny hunt for, specifically with this method. For example, like you saw Magikarp, that's one way to get it, but you can also get some exclusive Pokemon like Qwilfish. Qwilfish, I think, is exclusive to FireRed version, so if you want to get it, it's only obtainable through fishing in FireRed, and it's pretty awesome. And its shiny is also pretty neat. So yeah, there's specific Pokemon where specifically fishing as a method is the best and only way to really get them, so you're gonna have to do that for a few of them. Next up, we have soft resetting. Yeah, I mean, obviously, soft resetting is something you guys may be aware of. Basically, what soft resetting sort of refers to is that you basically just save in front of something. So, for example, if you want to get Eevee, well, Eevee is specifically found inside of the, I guess, Celadon department store. If you go to the top, you can find a person that can give them to you. Well, basically, what soft resetting requires you to do is you save right in front of them, you save your game, and after you've saved your game, you simply reset it over and over again after getting the Pokemon, right? So in this case, let's say if we want to get the Eevee, we save in front of the person who has the Eevee, the gift Eevee, and then we get the Pokemon from them, we check if it's a shiny. If it isn't a shiny, we reset our game, and we try to get the Pokemon from them again and again and again. basically, this method works for legendaries like Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, Mewtwo. Now, none of them are shiny locked in Gen 3. Every single one can be shiny hunted, and soft resetting is the most efficient way to actually get them. You can also do this for gift Pokemon, so don't sleep on these. I really mean it. There's some notable ones like Lapras, which I already mentioned. Eevee is another one as well they can also go for, which, again, these are received as gifts. Lapras being received as a gift in Silphco, where you just save right before picking it up and then reset until it's shiny. But also, Eevee, the same thing works there too. A pro tip is to usually buy around 60 Pokeballs before starting to soft reset hunting, because you don't want to be the person who actually encounters a shiny Mewtwo, like after doing the soft resets, and you only have a few Pokeballs in your inventory. Make sure you have enough stuff, just enough items stocked up, just in general for this, which is definitely worthwhile. Now, next up is probably my favorite method that I just found online. Somebody made a video about this a few years ago, but it's a really cool method, though, which is the Game Corner. Yeah, so Game Corner can be found over in Celadon City. If you guys do not know where Celadon is, I mean, as you're playing the game, you will encounter it. But basically, if we use our map, I can just quickly show you where that's located. So Celadon is right here. This is Celadon City. Now, Celadon City has an interesting location called the Game Corner, where if we run over there really quickly, I'm going to show you where it's located. If you are brand new to FireRed LeafGreen, it is right here. Now, the Game Corner is basically a little area where you can play slot machines. Basically, it's gambling in a Pokemon game. However, if you want to gamble here, you gotta have to go over to this building down here and talk to a man who will give you the coin case. The coin case is needed to be able to actually play in the Game Corner. So you talk to him and he will give you the coin case. After you spoke to this man, we're gonna go really quickly back up to the actual Game Corner itself. And if we go back up here and speak to the people inside, or actually rather more so use the machines inside, like these machines right here, we can actually play the slot machines and try to win, right? Now, if you actually end up winning, let me see, we're just going to try to see if we can get anything. Then again, we are maxed out on coins, so it doesn't really matter. But if we win right here, which we didn't, we will get or lose points, right? We'll get or lose coins. Now, your goal here is to try to get as many coins as possible. Try to get at least like 5,000 plus of coins. If you can get to 10,000 or 99999, then that's good too. But once you have the coins that are necessary, what we're going to do is go over to the building right next door to the Celadon City Game Corner, which is the prize corner. Now, this place, if you talk to the guy in the middle, he actually sells Pokemon. Yes, so he sells an Abra, Clefairy, Dratini, Scyther, or Porygon. Now, the Scyther would actually be only for Fire Red. If you're playing Leaf Green, it's going to be a Pinsir instead. However, what is this method? Well, once we're here, we grind and buy enough coins, we save our game, and then start purchasing Pokemon from this prize counter. Basically, the shiny check happens around the time the Pokemon enters your party. So as soon as we buy a Pokemon here with the coins, it will be checked if it's shiny. We can check in our inventory if it's shiny, or our party if it's not, right? If your party is full, it will go to the PC, so you're gonna have to run to the PC to check it. But basically, as soon as we get it, as soon as we make sure that it's registered, we can check if it's a shiny Pokemon. And if it's not, if we do this over and over again, like let's say if we just want to get a bunch of Abras, right? So we have like almost 10,000 coins. So we just buy a bunch of Abras, right? Over and over again. We're going to just speed through this just to show you what it's like. Going to buy loads of Abras, just a bunch of them. And once you do this, we can just quickly run over to, let's go, just that's good enough, whatever. If we just run over really quickly to the Pokemon Center, you will notice that we can check if any of them are shiny. So we're going to quickly go inside, check our PC. And if we check our PC, you'll notice that we have a bunch of them. So you check if these are shiny, and if none of them are shiny, you simply reset your game and you use your coins again, because these are all random every time you buy one. So there's always a chance one could be a shiny. You can do this over and over again. And basically, like I said, what's available to you in Fire Red is as follows. You've got the Abra, you got the Clefairy, you got the Dratini, you got the Scyther, and the Porygon. Obviously, Abra is the easiest one to do because you can get a bunch of Abras, like what, 20 or so Abras, give or take? Like basically a lot of Abras. You can get a ton of Abras from just 10,000 coins. Clefairy, you can get about like what, maybe on average about maybe 10, 15, 20 or so as well. Actually, Abras, you can get about like 40 Abras. You can get a lot of Abras, basically. But Clefairy, you'll get like a few less. Dratini, you can get about 3 Dratinis. Scyther, you get about like maybe 1 Scyther per try. And Porygon, you only get 1 Porygon per try. But it's kind of an interesting, fun method. And like I said, if you're playing Leaf Green version, you're going to have the same Pokemon. Abra, Clefairy, Dratini. But then Pinsir is going to be here instead of Scyther. And Porygon's going to still be here. But yeah, that is pretty much how that works. So it is a weird method. I'm well aware. It is very odd, but I think you should definitely do this hunt, and you should start with Abra and Clefairy. It's a fun, different way to do this. I know it's not the same as just going and finding them in the wild, but if you want to get shiny Abra, this is the best way to get shiny Abra because it is a Pokemon normally that will always teleport away. So yeah, just fair warning, Abra is one of those Pokemon that is very scary to deal with, and it's a very scary Pokemon to try to catch, but yeah, that's one of the hunts you can do. And, of course, one of the hunts that I'm going to mention here at the end is going to, of course, be Shiny Hunt resetting for the starter Pokemon. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I mean, you guys should already know this, that the starter Pokemon are also not shiny locked in this game, which means, yes, you can save in front of the actual moment that you're about to choose one of the starters, and you can keep resetting over and over again until you see if one of them is a shiny or not. It's definitely one of the most usual methods and most simple of hunts you can do, but it's definitely a worthwhile one in my opinion. I think you should definitely give it a shot if you haven't already. And yeah, that is pretty much the methods you can do in this game. There might be some other fun hunts, but like I said, most of the hunts you can do are pretty much going to be you going through the tall grass or fishing or the game corner. And again, you could also go into the Safari Zone, and you might probably actually have to go into the Safari Zone to get a few shinies, because a lot of them are exclusive if you're trying to get a living shiny dex. But overall, those are the methods, and those are the most fun hunts that I could think of. Hopefully, you guys will enjoy trying to do all of these. Again, I'm sorry if you expected to get some way of boosting your odds. Unfortunately, these games never had any odds boosting. I think odds boosting was only really introduced in Gen 4, so Gen 3 didn't have any way, or Gen 2, or Gen 1, any way of actually increasing shiny odds. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys did enjoy this little video. If you did, then drop a like down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.